Okay, so today we are going to be doing some comparisons between weapons, and I wanted to start off with the shotguns. I think that this is a very important place to go because a lot of fights in this OG remix season are ending in very close range. So figuring out which shotgun you want to use, I think is, yeah. And knowing how to use it as well, because both of these shotguns, the pump and the tac, have very different attributes that are going to make them, it's going to change like not only how you use them, but then your other guns in your loadout as well. So what we're going to do is we'll start off by comparing the base models, then we'll start off by comparing the more upgraded versions and see if any of these stats change between the rarities. Typical tac shotgun sound. Another sound difference, another pretty big sound difference. So we should be able to tell by the sounds that our opponents are making whether or not they're holding a rare tac or a less rare tac. So look at like how much smaller the reticle gets on the purple versus the base model. And now let's listen to the sound difference. Versus. So a lot more noticeable and very distinct. So just looking at it from a damage perspective, kind of, the pump automatically wins. But like that's like the very, very first thing that you look at, and it doesn't tell the whole story. Never tells the whole story. So just straight up damage, the pump wins, not by the biggest margin on the body shot, 101 versus 81. The headshot for sure. You got 50 extra, that's big. That's big. But then let's keep moving down. We're on Osirian, by the way, Osirian.gg. I believe that what we're doing right now is free for anybody. You do not need the pro plan for this. I believe the pro plan gives you other things like checks your matches for bots and things like that. So anyone who has a Discord account can link it up to Osirian. That's how you sign into Osirian. So you do need Discord to access this. But anyone with a Discord account can do what we're doing right now. So please consider checking out Osirian. They're a great website, great resource. They have an excellent Discord as well with a ton of information. So Osirian alone is worth acquiring Discord for. So if you guys ever want to do what we're doing here, this is the resource, and that's how to do it. So this is where it starts to get a little bit surprising, honestly. The structure damage on the tactical shotgun is actually 4 damage higher than the pump. I would have expected the pump to have a greater structure damage than the tactical, which I cannot figure out for the life of me why it wouldn't, really. I mean, you're not going to even honestly want to use the pump to open up a structure, because then that's your pump. Someone's gonna be able to just take the wall right after you, or you'd have to switch your weapons. So you'd almost think that they'd want to bait you into having good structure damage just for that reason alone. But right now, from what I can see here, you would basically never want to fire your shotgun at a structure. And I do mention build stuff here and there. Primarily, I am a zero builds player. I'm going to be looking at this from the perspective of a zero build player. I really do think that if you want to just boil it down, if you're playing builds, use the pump. If you're playing zero builds, use the tac. End video. We're done. But if you want to, there's a lot of people who do prefer the pump in zero build as well. I mean, there's people who prefer the tac in build. So there are people who prefer either in both modes. So I am basically here today to give you the data as to why you should use which one. But let's get on to some of the more important things. Rate of fire. You got 0.7 seconds on the pump. You've got 1.5 seconds on the tac. I mean, obviously this is where the tac's going to shine. It's an auto shotgun versus a pump shotgun. So of course this, here, this headshot damage, that's where the pump shines, and here the rate of fire, that's where the tac shines. So you kind of just have to decide what kind of gun do you prefer to use. All right, now this is where I feel like the tac starts to take a pretty ridiculous advantage. And it's not in this damage per second, because of course that's basically directly equivalent to the rate of fire, but the clip size. Why these numbers are the way they are is a little silly to me. You would almost think that they'd want to give the pump shotgun the 8 shots and the tac the 5 shots. The boom spammy shotgun shouldn't really get 8 shots. I mean, this is just me throwing a little bit of my opinion in here with these numbers, but 8 shots. And I could see if this was one of those shotguns where it revolved off of a clip and you had to reload the entire thing at once, like say the Auto Frenzy from Chapter 5. But this is a pellet-based single loading shotgun, one at a time. So you can very easily shoot your 8 shots, miss a bunch because you're just spamming, then take cover for 2 seconds, not even, reload 2 shots, then pop back out and finish up the kill. Whereas if you needed to stop for 3 to 4 seconds and reload the full 8, that would be an actual detriment. But giving it not only 8, but the ability to reload 1 at a time is very, very powerful. Reload time is a little negligible here because these are both 1 pellet shotgun reloads, and this one is only bigger because it has more bullets. So I wouldn't really go off of this. They both do reload 1 at a time, so that way you can kind of strategically shoot, reload, shoot, reload. Horizontal recoil, ADS vertical recoil. I don't really look at these types of things either because it's a shotgun. You're typically shooting like one shot at a time, and even when you're spamming a full auto shotgun, the recoil is not what's going to make you miss your shots. It's the fact that you have bad accuracy if you miss your shots, honestly. So bullet width. I've never really looked at this before from the shotguns, but they are both the same bullet width. Pull out time. Okay, another statistic where I do not fully understand why they are the way they are and not inverse. Wouldn't you think the pump shotgun should have the faster pullout time? The one that requires, I'm sorry, the one that demands switching in close range. Like, you can't just, unless you have cover, you know, which is great. If you have right shoulder peeking, your opponent doesn't, and they don't want to push you, and you're in close enough range that you can use a pump shotgun, you know, you need to pump switch. You know, that's what the pump is. So the fact that the tactical, you can take out 360 milliseconds, and the pump is 433.33, almost a full half a second pullout time, is crazy to me. That's crazy. I do not get why the pump is so hindered in like some of these like more passive stats, you know, the pullout time, the clip size. It's very it makes me never really want to use the pump, honestly. So I think you can kind of like see where I'm going, like, but personally, I'll just kind of interject right now, you know, so you don't want to watch the rest of the video, you know, shout out to you because I have ADHD too. I'm a tac player, you know, in zero builds, mainly because, and I'll say for, oh, sorry, let me turn off Discord because I forget about Discord popping up. I prefer the tac because I carry shoddy sniper. Like, those are my two guns. So I don't have a loadout that allows me to really switch. My loadout right now that I aim for is tac, shotgun, sniper rifle, boogie bombs, rocket launcher, and grappler. So I don't have room for a spray weapon of any kind. If I don't find boogie bombs, then I'm typically carrying a second grappler. If I can't find a second grappler, then I guess I can carry, I mean, at that point, like, I usually have something though. I either have a bad sniper rifle and I'll carry, you know, I guess I can carry like an AR for a spray weapon, but yeah, I typically don't in my final loadout. So I like to be able to just have a gun that I can rely on solely for close range. And for the sniper, me personally, I can use it even in medium to close range, honestly. Like, say I go for a boogie bomb play, like, oftentimes I'll go for a body shot snipe to get them out of the boogie, then switch to tac to finish them off with a 2-shot, because that's going to take away about half their health, you know, or a rocket launcher, depending on like if we have height or what the situation is. But like, say they have height, go for the sniper shot for sure. So you can definitely use a sniper rifle within, you know, 5 to 10 meters, absolutely, especially if they're not going to be able to shoot back at you. But yeah, I'm more of a tac. I mean, I'm a zero build player, as you guys know if you've been here for any duration of time. If I were playing builds, then I think I would probably omit the sniper rifle and go for a pump spray setup. Maybe the chain gun would be nice. Chain gun could be, well, chain gun has the startup, unfortunately. Chain gun has the startup. You know what would be cool? Maybe like drum gun. Drum gun seems like a nice in between. Like, go for Snoop's drum gun plus a gold pump. That could be a nice combo. If I were a builds player, I am not really. So, you know, I'll play a little builds here and there, but I'm mainly gonna I'd probably just go for like, you know, the drum gun or just like a standard AR, that type of thing, or SMG. SMG seems really nice to spray through builds as well. All right, so aside from pullout time, there's like just a few other little things I want to talk about. You know, aim assist, and that's all kind of the same. Spread is, once again, these things here, you kind of can tell by the reticle when you're using the weapon, you know, that the tac is going to have a bigger, you know, spread. Like, you have to get closer in with that. It's more of a barrel stuffing type shotgun, where the pump does actually have decent range, you know, not great, but decent range. So I don't really give these too much, basically because like we kind of already expect that the pump is going to be more accurate and a little bit further shooting. I mean, that, like, if it didn't have that going for it, then there would literally be next to no reason to ever use it. And then everything else for the most part is the same. You know, the ADS in time, out time, bullets per shot, like, you know, the how many pellets are in a single shot, the delay between swaps. So this is like after you shoot the gun, but that initial pull out, I think you'd want the pump to be quicker. So overall, I think that you basically just have to look at these two as tactical is the easier to use shotgun. It's just going to be more consistent, more forgiving. That's the big word. The tac is a forgiving shotgun. You know, it has a higher floor and a lower ceiling, you know, where the pump is more like this, you know, the floor's not even on the screen anymore, you know, neither is the ceiling. It's just, the headshots you can hit with a good pump are incredible. They're devastating, and they're about as game ending as a headshot snipe, honestly. You know, those are like the two ways that you can clean someone up as quick as possible in this game, you know, a headshot snipe, a good pump, and then swap with a couple bullets from your spray weapon, or like rocket launcher shot on someone who's already been boogie bombed, and then you have a pump ready or a snipe ready or something like crazy like that. But, you know, the two most basic ways would be headshot from either a sniper or a nice pump shotgun. So there's no denying the power that you can get from a pump headshot. It's just when you miss those pump headshots. And then you have to spray, or you have to switch to your spray weapon just to start making up ground, because your opponent's already on their third shot from their attack shotgun. And then when you switch back to your pump for that second shot, the pressure's on, because at that point it is an all or nothing shot. You know that if you miss this next shot, if you don't hit them directly in the head to get, you know, 100 plus damage, your game is over if that's the game that you chose to play. I really don't like making that, you know, whole 50-50 thing kind of even part of my game plan. I prefer to keep distance, and I will go in for a finishing shot, you know, with the pump and or attack, or I will just try to finish people off my shotgun. I don't really like those 50-50s, but it's impossible to deny that a lot of people do like pushing and giving 50-50 fights, and you are at times going to simply have to fight a fully healthed opponent while you were at full health when you guys are starting the fight within 5 meters, basically. And when those instances occur, you better have that pump headshot ready to go, and you better have your swap ready to go, and you better not swap back to your pump before the delay is ready, because you'll get that little circle delay and you won't fire immediately. You know, the whole real key to why this is so strong is such a weird feature that I never really even thought should be a thing in Fortnite, which is if you hold down the fire button, you don't actually need to press it again. The swap button then becomes the fire button. That's how I look at it. You know, if you press, say for me, left click on my mouse, and then I'm just holding that down the whole time, I shoot my pump shotgun, then I hit my swap weapon to my AR. I have never let go of the fire weapon. As soon as that AR is actionable, it will start firing as long as the fire button has been held down. I've always thought this is an incredibly broken feature of Fortnite, but hey, I always thought hit scan was broken too. Then they took that away and people rage. So let me not say nothing about this and let Epic hear me and, you know, decide to make you click the button a second. Imagine having to click the button a second time. Holy cow. Imagine having to click the button every time you fired the gun. I always thought that was cheap, but whatever. And then you, because this is a mechanic, you can physically swap back to your pump too quickly and then have to wait out the delay. You'll see a little, you know, circle kind of timing down, and you know, that's why you really do want to fire like, you know, 3-4 shots out of your spray weapon, not just 1 or 2. At first I thought it was the actual act of switching weapons that would cancel the pump, you know, delay, but no, it's just you need to just fill that delay time with more DPS from another weapon to actually make the pump really viable in a close range setting, where the tac you can just bang 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 shoot it out the whole time. So if you are a more novice OG player like myself, you know, you give me a jetpack, captain shield, auto turret, okay, all of a sudden I'm a little more skilled, a little more advanced. But you put me back in the day where I haven't really played these more classic Fortnite settings, and I am definitely just a regular old guy making YouTube videos, you know, who just is going to get the same amount of wins as most of you guys. So consider that, you know, if you're a player like me, go tac shotgun. If you've been doing this forever, if you are a legit OG, if you are extremely comfortable, go pump. There's really no detriment to it. But I just thought it was very important to break down the numbers and break down the stats and just see exactly the nuances and the ins and outs and know exactly what you're giving up when you do go for the pump, because it's a little bit more than just getting, you know, trying to get some nice fancy headshots. You do give up pullout time. You do give up structure damage. You do give up some weird little things. But yeah, in terms of shotguns, I think that's going to be it for today, everybody. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Love you all. And we will see you on the next one.